Well, hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is November 6th. It's a new day in the United States of America. We have just elected a new president. Yesterday was interesting, to say the least, but not as interesting for me as you might think, because I actually predicted this on October 25th. So about a week, about a week and a half before the election. I predicted it. I saw some certain things that were happening in the Trump and Harris campaigns, and I just said to myself, I think Trump's got this. And he got it. He also got the popular vote, though. So I thought that he was just going to win the Electoral College. I knew it was going to be close, but I did think that he was going to not get the popular vote. I was wrong about that. Dead wrong. There was a particular moment last night when I realized, yeah, this is going to Trump. This is going to Trump big time, and he might actually win the popular vote too. And that moment was, I think it was around 6 p.m., maybe between 6 and 6:30. The numbers were coming in from Florida. He was up by 300,000 votes, up by 14%, up way, 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 way more than he was up over Biden in 2020. When I saw those Florida results, and they weren't even really bringing in they were at only like 8% counted in Pennsylvania at that point. But I was like, if he's this far ahead in Florida, which I believe Obama won in 2008 and 2012, I think. But it used to be a swing state. It hasn't been for the last couple election cycles. But when he's that far ahead in a state that was pretty close between him and Biden in 2020, this is going to be reflected in all over the country. All right. The freakish Iowa poll, that had all these Democrats excited. It was like, oh, there's this poll came out by these reliable pollsters, and he's, Kamala's 3 points ahead in Iowa. I was really skeptical of that when I heard it, because I was just like, that's one poll. That's one poll. Nobody else has released any poll that looks anything like this. So why, just because they were like somewhat accurate in the past, why are we just gonna like stake everything on this poll and say like, oh, it's gonna be like a total blowout, sweep of everything for Kamala? No, I didn't believe that when I saw the poll. I stuck with my prediction that I made on the 25th. I thought Trump was going to win going into last night. He did win. He won bigger than I thought he would. But like I said, it was an interesting night, to say the least. I am not freaking out. I'm not panicked. I'm not depressed. I'm a little bit rattled, because my expectation. I had my expectation, but it was. His success far, far, far exceeded my expectations. I was a little bit shocked by that. Why Trump winning the popular vote is shocking, and it is something that needs to lead to reflection about the direction that our country is going and what a majority of voters are prioritizing, what they want out of their leaders. It's something that we need to reflect on, because I think maybe, those of us who consider ourselves liberals, I think we may, not have our finger on the pulse as much as we think we do. I think we may misunderstand what this country actually wants, and what it is voting for. And I think we need to reflect and reevaluate, but not panic. Not panic. I don't think that this is the end of the United States or anything like that. Yeah, it's time. It's a time for reflection. What's done is done. The election is not going to be contested. Trump won it soundly. Kamala, I'm sorry, is expected to concede very soon, if she hasn't already made the phone call. All right, so this is done. There's not going to be, weeks and months of contending the election results or anything like that. We've accepted the reality of what has happened, and we need to move forward and continue to do what we can to work for and support the well-being of all of our countrymen. That's what we as liberals do. So yeah, I'm going to pause here for a moment, and then I'm going to bring in your spicy food review. All right, so now that I'm done with my lame political pontifications. I'm not a political analyst. You know, you can probably see if you like re-listen to the first 4.5 minutes of this video exactly why I don't comment on politics on this channel. Number one, I don't want this to be a political channel, and I don't think I was too overly like politically biased in that. I just kind of like tried to realistically and objectively assess what happened last night, but at the same time, it's just not my forte talking about that. I'm much more articulate when I'm talking about spicy foods or when I'm talking about literature or music or bad horror movies or something like that. So I won't subject you to any more political content. All right. So I had my eye on these for a while. Wow, it's the weird lighting thing again. There, you can see it now. I've had my eye on these for a while. These have been at Safeway in the Asian food section, and I've been really intrigued by them. But they're incredibly expensive. They're like $14.50 for this bag. All right. But you know what? I'm like, I was at Safeway this morning. I had to get paper towels or something like that, and a couple other things after I dropped my stepdaughter off of school. But like, yeah, these have been on the shelves for quite a while. I was waiting for them to change price. I realize now Safeway is stubborn. They're not going to change the price. They're always going to be $14.50 unless there's some kind of sale that brings them down to like $13.99. But that, what's the difference really? So I went ahead and got them. So these are Irvin's Hot Boom Spicy Salted Egg Salmon Skin, and they're supposedly dangerously addictive. I'm trying to keep these in the light where you can actually read them. Dangerously addictive spicy salted egg salmon skin. That's pretty interesting. All right. Calling out all spicy food lovers. Challenge your taste buds with this explosive, garlicky, spicy version of the salted egg salmon skin. Along with our signature salted egg, the crisps of our fried salmon skin are mixed with a concentration of spicy red chili peppers. This creates an all-rounded, multi-sensory snacking experience. Hot, spicy, sizzling. Are you ready to experience it? Okay. I'm not going to read, man, it's one of those things where it's like a salty snack that has like 1,500 different ingredients that I'm not going to bother reading. Let's just taste it and just see if it's interesting. I'm going to hold them to that dangerously addictive claim too. This better be dangerously addictive. Oh no, did I do the thing where I didn't? Okay. No, I didn't do the thing where I didn't rip it along the line like close enough. Oh my gosh. Wow, that just smells like salmon skins. That smells really fishy. That smells really fishy. What is this a product of? Product of something. Let's find the country of origin. Singapore. Really? Yeah, this is a product of Singapore. Okay, this is literally the first product of Singapore that I've ever eaten on this channel. So this is a first. And I don't think I've ever in my life had salmon skins as a snack. Okay. So it's a bunch of fishiness in that. And then it tastes like they're just like coated in like powdery breadcrumbs. So really fishy dried fish skins covered in powdery breadcrumbs. There is some spice. The impression I'm getting from that, my first impression is not a pleasant one. Let's try another one. Wow. And when I said powdery breadcrumbs, I've been thinking like cracker crumbs. Yeah, it's fishy, dried salmon skins coated in kind of powdery cracker crumbs with some spice thrown in. I was thinking these would be more umami. Honestly, the cracker coating, let's try this one. This one looks a little bit darker, so maybe the seasoning's like a little bit more ample on this one. Okay, the smaller piece was substantially better. Tastes like there was more salt and more chili pepper on the smaller pieces. These big ass pieces here, ooh, I don't know about that. I do not know about that. Mmm. It's like fishiness and blandness. But then you get these little pieces. These are really good. So it's weird. It's like I'm gonna give a different here. I'm gonna hold it in the light. I'm gonna give a different flavor rating for different sized pieces that come out of this bag. All right. So if you get one of these little pieces, that's like has the more red colored seasoning and is more amply seasoned. Okay. So these have adequate salt and adequate spice to them. They're not bland. And they actually don't taste as fishy either. And I think because in these pieces there's like less of the salmon skin. So these kind of pieces, I'm gonna give that a 7. That's a decent snack. These big ass pieces that are less seasoned and primarily consist of salmon skin and like bland cracker crumbs that are kind of like unpleasantly powdery. Like it's not. I don't know. They should be like a crunchier consistency, but they just taste like somebody just took like Ritz crackers and then just put them in a sandwich bag and pounded them down, and then coated a salmon skin with some egg and then rolled them in the cracker crumbs. That's not my thing. So I'm gonna give the bigger pieces a 5. Now they both have a fairly consistent spice level somehow. So smaller pieces and larger pieces both get a spice level of about 1.5, creeping up to a 2. So not very spicy, but it's there. You can detect it. But are those dangerously addictive? No, those are not dangerously addictive. It is very, very easy for me, once I've stopped recording this video, to put this bag away and not touch it for the next week or so. I will eat them because I spent $14.50 on them, but that's not a favorite of mine. I do like the little pieces. So yeah, I'm being generous. It's probably more like a 6.5, but I just think because they're so much better, they're so much more pleasant to eat than the big fishy pieces. Because like those, and I think I'm being generous with the 5 on the big fishy pieces too. Only because it's like, yeah, this is like, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to be nice because it's the first snack I've ever had from Singapore. But yeah, I mean, you have to have a really high tolerance for fishiness if you want to eat those. It's an interesting snack. I've never had anything quite like it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's one that I'm going to be going back to. And I certainly do not think that in any way either the small or the large pieces justify the price of $14.50. No way. So, do not recommend, unless you know, if you want something that's like kind of like interesting and you don't mind fishiness, sure. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about those. All right.